All right, hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today. I told you last week that you would be seeing and hearing more from me in the weeks to come, so here I am. Thank you for being here live, wherever you're watching this video. So the week got off to a bit of a rough start, but here we are, continuing our conversations. And today I am super excited because we are going to be talking about the most important lesson I learned from our match 2023 clients here at Memorable SA. And I don't think it is excessive to say another congratulations to everyone who was successful in the match, because we're in that season. Hi Chris, so I'll just throw out my last congratulations as we jump into the main lesson that I took and the most important lesson that I took from applicants this year. We're going to go through 3 lessons and then end with one in particular. So do not mind if I speak very strongly about this first one because it is close to my heart, and I'm going to start on it, although it is not too positive, but it's so important, so let me jump on it. The first lesson is that failing is not a prerequisite for seeking help. So we are almost done crunching our numbers, and I'm very excited because we have beat the NRMP average for IMG's matching again. And one thing that has been a little bit peculiar though in our data is that we had such a large percentage of reapplicants. So we have had reapplicants before, but this year we had, I think, 32% reapplicants. That's the number that we're seeing. And within that reapplicant pool, there were a couple of 3rd and 4th time applicants as well. In that 32%, only one person who we supported before. And so sort of going over materials from everyone and the different conversations that we had, the first big lesson that I took, and we're going to get to the major one, which is number 1, is that failing is not a prerequisite for seeking help. Meaning that this is not to say that you cannot go through the match process on your own, but there are so many moving parts to this, right? That you would know more than anyone else. Whether you are testing for your STEP exams, whether you're trying to just get your personal life under control, get work under control so you can actually dedicate time to preparing for this, whether you're working on your application, whether you're trying to decide, which specialty to apply to, where to apply to, if you want a really competitive specialty, do you get a backup or not? There are lots of moving parts to this where sometimes you will need help, you will need teaching, you will need coaching, and there is absolutely no need, I think, in 2022, 2023 to go through this alone. Back when I started working with international medical graduates around 10 years ago, I think, it sounds like somebody's having a party, excuse the noise. Back when I started working with IMGs about 10 years ago, I think it was understandable because things, were very new. Even then, a lot of people were still sort of feeling their way in the dark. But at this time, there are so many resources that are available to international medical graduates. So many people and programs who make themselves available to you that I really want you to think long and hard before you try to do this all by yourself. There is absolutely no need to, because you can end up spending just so much time on the hamster wheel doing things over and over and over again when it could just be done one time. All right, and I think that one, it is applicable to a lot of people, right? Especially a lot of high achieving people who are used to being able to figuring out things yourself. But I think that the match is a particular beast that you want to make sure that you're not thinking that you'd rather fail or you'd rather try yourself. Someone wrote us a testimonial and she said that someone had told her about our service, but it wasn't until the 15th time, yes, 15, 1-5, that she tried to write her personal statement and failed, that she reached out, right? And so sometimes even if you can do something all by yourself, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to, right? It's okay to get help to do something just because it would make it easier. So I just wanted to say that because we are totally fine with helping reapplicants, but I think if you can save yourself time and stress, these are years of your life, you don't have to necessarily become a reapplicant, all right? But congrats to all our reapplicants who were successful, right? Against some amazing odds as well. The other lesson that I learned, which is major and like such a great reminder for me as well, is that you are having extraordinary experiences in your ordinary life, and you really, really, really have to stop sometimes and take stock of them. One of the first things that we do in our process is that people who are working with us will receive a finder. And with that finder, we're trying to figure out what kind of messaging we'll be providing you for your application. And we can see, and we saw a lot this year, that whenever people receive that finder, it is legitimately the first time in a long time, or the first time ever, that they are sitting to think about their childhoods, about their adulthoods, about all of the really amazing things and moving things and transformative things that have happened to them in life. And the reason that this is important, Shania, the reason that this is important is because if you are currently going through medical training, you need to have some sort of a Google Doc or some sort of a journal, hi Chris, where you're making notes of like, hey, I saw this patient today, and this was the first time I thought about X. Or this patient support system spoke with me, and this moved inside of me, right? Because those little moments of shift, those moments that mean a lot, those moments that make you think differently, behave differently, do differently, those are things that are going to become a very important part of your story. And I'm going to tell you, the only reason that we saw people with 250s matching at the same places as, and we know because we have access to their profiles, as people with like 200 and a little bit, right? It's the power of their story and of their profile, because you are so much more than your grades. And so you are going to need to be able to go back and to look at your experiences and to see all of those extraordinary moments that have made you into who you are. I keep saying, and I will continue to say, that the match really is a pretty intricate job search and job application process, right? It is a job. And when it comes to jobs, always, 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 the person who is going to be more successful is the person who can speak more directly to that program and to say to the program, this is what is unique about me. And you're going to miss all of the things that are unique about you if you are missing all of the extraordinary things that are happening in your ordinary life. No, I cannot come here on the live and tell people's personal life stories. These are not my stories to tell. But things that you might look at and say, oh, that's so simple, right? Moving to different countries, moving to different communities, being a caregiver, being a care manager, having really deep and meaningful experiences with your siblings or your family members, watching them go through illness. All of these things are extraordinary experiences that you might be overlooking. And I thought that was just another big lesson for me, even to know that it's not really okay, although we do it in life because I guess we need to pay bills, but it's not really okay to just keep jumping from one goal to the next goal to the next goal in life without ever really sitting to sit, without ever stopping, to sit and to process our experiences, because really these very extraordinary things are happening in our everyday ordinary life, right? And then the most important lesson that I learned, which is why I really can't wait to crunch these numbers, is that where you start does not determine where you finish. And I was talking with a former client earlier today, how many years ago? Maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, he matched, and he actually was on the selection committee for his residency program this year. And we were kind of talking through some things, and we were saying that, people really had some pretty good performances in this year's match, especially considering a lot of the backgrounds that they brought. And I really am so proud of so many of our applicants who, as I said before, not just reapplying and matching, and again, our data is confidential, but people who took step one, not once, not twice, not 3 times, right? So how many times they took that. People who had to transfer medical schools, people who were switching specialties, people who graduated more than 7 years ago, more than 10 years ago, more than 15 years ago. Like, this is the kind of composition of our cohort. Of course, we had people who graduated 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, that sort of thing. But we had people with a very diverse profile and some people with some very rough profiles. And we're able to see now where some of those people ended up in the same program. The person who got 190 plus is in the same program with somebody with 230 plus, 250 plus. And I think that this is such an important lesson for me to share with everyone who's applying to the match this year. And again, I think just everybody who's a part of the Memorable Essay community, if you're moving on to fellowship or whatever you're doing, because I think that the important things here are that, one, if you are preparing for the match and you're blowing everything out of the water, med school is smooth sailing, steps is smooth sailing, the research is coming on the belt, the publications are coming, you're volunteering, that is great for you, and we want excellence. We want you to be excellent, so please be excellent. But please also know that none of that is going to guarantee you a match or guarantee you a match at a certain program. So all you have to do, and what your responsibility is to continue to be meticulous with every aspect of the process, including even networking when you bring a profile like that. And I think it also says to people who do not have the perfect profile, who you might have had to transfer your med school, life might have happened to you and you're 10 years old and you're 15 years old, that a match is possible for you, right? Or you fell down on your steps, not intentionally, but you're putting yourself back together now, and a match is possible for you, because where you start, I'm telling you, I wish I could show you guys some of these things or get some of our clients to come and talk, but where you start is not the final determining factor of where you end up, right? That's really important. And I think it's just gonna come down to, I'm not like a fan of hustle and hustle. That's not really, something that I support. But I do think that drive and desire, those things are very important, as is preparation, getting help, and so on. And I'm really and truly in awe of the drive that so many of our clients have and that they brought to the process this year. Because for a lot of people, I think other people might have told them, or there were people telling them that, throw in the towel, looking another way, and they just look in another direction, and they just determined that they weren't looking in any other direction and they were going to be successful in the match, and they were. So I hope that was helpful today. And over the next couple of days, we're going to be sharing some feedback and some testimonials from people who went through our program this year, so you can meet them. Some of them will be anonymous, some will be sharing their names, but you will be learning all that you can from them, I guess, in their journey to the match. And so I just wanted to share these really huge lessons that I myself took from this year. And we were saying earlier when we started that failing is not a prerequisite for seeking help. That was the first big one, because about 32% of our applicants were re-applicants, and many of them were third or fourth time who we were meeting for the first time, and that does not need to be you. Extraordinary experiences are happening in your ordinary life, and please do not overlook them, because those are the experiences that are going to make you into somebody who has unique value to add to a residency program. So keep your little journal, or when it comes time to apply and you're really digging into your childhood and your adulthood, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be a discovery and a cure and the rare disease that you figured out. It's the really simple things where all of the magic lies, right? All of the things that really make you unique. And where you start in this match process and in life as an IMG, it is not the determining factor of where you end up. You are going to end up in some of the same places that other people who had a different route from you did, and that's okay, right? It's okay if everybody can get to the same table and to be successful. So we will talk again tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in, and look out for feedback from our program in the days to come. All right, take care. Bye-bye.